Did you know, Jim, that Django has some 30 or so sequels, and I think one of them's official?
What?
For whatever reason, again, Italians, they love ripping off movies. They love ripping off American movies. They love ripping off Mad Max. They even love ripping off Italian movies because there were so many unofficial Django sequels. It was it was a true epidemic in the 60s, in 60s Italian cinema.
True.
Most of them, they all used the title. Some of them didn't. It wasn't even the same character. They would just throw Django in the title. I think it goes without saying, Italy's copyright laws were borderline non-existent at this time. Toho discovered that because Toho sued the hell out of Sergio Leone for a fistful of dollars and everything. Toho with the
Toho sues
and
everybody
everything.
though. Well, and I think Japanese entertainment companies sue a lot of people. There's a thing right now, again, because I'm super cool. Sometimes I watch people on YouTube who talk about anime, and some animes you can't show footage from an episode that's been out for 10 years, 15 years, because that company will sue you and get your video demonetized and removed from YouTube.
I don't know what it is with Japan. Japan has 5 companies in their entire country. And so I think maybe that's why, because everything falls under, it's Mitsubishi and Yamaha. You ever wonder why Yamaha makes both pianos and motorcycles? Two things that couldn't be more diametrically opposed. It's because Yamaha is the biggest company in the world. I think Japan has 5 or 6 mega corporations, and that's probably why they have enough power to sue the hell out of anybody, because they just it probably has something to do with that. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's coincidental. But yeah, Franco Nero was in an official Django sequel in 1987.
Oof.
There were plenty of other unofficial ones. Some of them might have even had Franco Nero in them. I wouldn't be surprised if, this was the era of 60s and 70s. This is the era of if a movie comes out and you have this star and they were big in another movie, the poster would just flat out say the name of the character in the other movie. There are movies, I know I brought this up to you, but there are movies that will just say starring Harold Odd Job Sakata. because then you don't know this guy's name, but he was Odd Job, and there's movies like that. So there might have just been movies that are hey, Django's in it, and it's what what is he though? But yeah, so there are a lot of Django sequels. Django obviously is a well-known movie now. It's on like I said, it's on Blu-ray. I own it. I don't know how easy to come by some of the other ones are. I'm sure you can find some on Tubi.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
yes.
This movie and the next movie we're going to talk about, I both found on Tubi in Canada. But let me just look up for a second. Django. There's 2 Django movies on Tubi. One from 1969, Django the Bastard.
Okay.
And then Django, dubbed, the one that we watched.
Okay, so Django the Bastard, coincidentally, is a bastard of a sequel. It does not belong.
Yeah.
But
well, and it has its German title on Tubi, which is Django und die Bande der Bluthunde.
So some of them have really awesome titles because spaghetti westerns in general had awesome titles. The spaghetti westerns and giallo movies just have the most interesting titles to me. They're really, really wordy, or they tend to be. A Fistful of Dollars. That's just a cool title.
Well, it's also kind of bad English, you know what I mean? But
it's not though. It's just fistful isn't a common word. It's not it's not a word. It's
just, you're right. Yeah, it's just not. Yes.
But there's a movie called Django Kill If You Live Shoot. And that to me is an amazing title. There's also, I'm a big fan of the Sartana movies, which Sartana, as far as spaghetti western heroes go, he's a bit less of a. It goes Man with No Name. Django's probably your second one. Maybe Ringo is your third one. Maybe George Harrison fourth. No, I don't know. And then it's Sartana maybe is the fourth one. But here are the titles of the Sartana movies. They're all amazing. They're really good movies, too, I would say. I would say some of them are better than Django, at least. If You Meet Sartana, Pray for Your Death. That's the first one.
That's awesome.
The second one, I Am Sartana, Your Angel of Death.
Oh.
This one, these next 2 are probably my 2 favorites. Sartana's Here, Trade Your Pistol for a Coffin. And this one's even better. Have a good funeral, my friend. Sartana will pay.
Dude, that's great.
And then lastly, light the fuse. Sartana is coming.
Oh, so, dude, that's great.
Listen, spaghetti western titles are amazing. And even just, Django. Such a cool name. Whether it's Reinhardt or this spaghetti western guy. It's a cool name. Even if it's just even if you only need that as a title. It's cooler if you throw some weird variety of words implying that the guy kills a lot of people, like all these Sartana movie titles and some of the unofficial Django titles. But even just the name Django is cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, the name for this movie could have been The Man Who Leaves Bodies in the Mud, Django.
You know what would have been, this isn't really in the same vein, but how about Coffin Full of Gold?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be, but then again, that has to do with the movie, and most of these titles don't really. They're just like vague phrases that don't really relate to the movie in particular, for the most part.
Yeah, I guess we couldn't say anything to do with coffin.
Well, yeah. Well, you're not topping Sartana's Here. Trade your pistol for a coffin, so. Or Have a Good Funeral, my friend. Sartana will pay. It's just like a title that's like a full sentence. It's like two sentences. It's
they took a line from the movie and they just made it the title.
Except I'm sure it's not a line. I don't think it's a line from the movie. Maybe it is, but dude.
What?
There's a spaghetti western called $10,000 for a Massacre.
That's a pretty cheap price, really.
These are it's $10,000 in 1865 is a lot of money.
Oh my goodness,
but
you're right. That's a lot of money.
That's guess what? This is an unofficial Django Django sequel. I just clicked on it.
What are the odds?